please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Okay, 100 good points on the Nifty. It's a solid Wednesday, and there is no letting up. I mean, you know, you could maybe complain and nitpick that, well, the gains are not another 20, 30 odd points and it's kind of plateaued out. Maybe even given up a little bit, but not by much. I mean, we're at about 10,436. The high is 10,457, so 20 points off the high. And I mean, you know, the low point basically is the gap up start. I mean, the starting point from where the market never really looked back. That point was about 10,383. That is basically the opening level. So that is how things stand. News flow is thick and fast. Earnings are coming through, and that will be the focus over the next 30 minutes. Samira, good afternoon.
Hi Prashant, good afternoon to you as well. Some news flow coming through on Premier Explosives. They've bagged an order from Coal India, I think 145 odd crores. So that's spurring that stock as well. Let's get started. These are our top stories. The Nifty is firmly above the 10,400 mark. The Sensex adds over 400 points. This rally fueled by banks which are on fire today as the Nifty Bank hits a fresh record.
Bharti Airtel soars in trade to be the top contributor to Nifty's gains today. This after its Africa business beat expectations. CLSA upgrades the stock to a buy with a price target of 637. Also boosting the stock is the company's announcement of interest for selling controlling stake in the tower company Bharti Infratel.
TVS Motor reports an inline set of earnings. Margins at 8.6% beat estimates. Revenue grows 18% to 4,050 crores.
October, that is October auto sales start trickling in. Maruti sales are a marginal miss on analyst expectations. Eicher Motors to disappoint, so sales growth comes in at 18% versus expectations of 24%. Escorts has beaten expectations while Mahindra & Mahindra is in line.
On the earnings calendar, then Tech Mahindra profit is likely to fall 8% despite operating income growth. Revenue growth may be led by enterprise vertical. Hero Motors sales growth will be driven by an 11% jump in volumes.
Now, the cabinet meet is in focus. We learn from sources that the cabinet has approved ethanol price revision. Also on the agenda is likely to be a strategic stake sale in 4 to 5 public sector units, including Dredging Corporation. Okay, the news at the bottom of the screen is with regards to ethanol pricing. So, I mean, just FYI, background information, the ethanol pricing, the administered price of ethanol essentially was fixed at 39 rupees per litre. That was fixed for, the year 1st of December 2016 to 30th of November 2017. So this is, it was 39 rupees a litre. I think the revision that we're talking about is with regards to that price, the administered price. Praj, of course, comes up as soon as we talk about ethanol. But I mean, this will be important for sugar companies, etc. as well. But there you go. Cabinet approves ethanol price hike for blending with petrol to 41. So this is 41 a litre as compared to 39 earlier, which was the earlier price. We should try and get companies like Praj and maybe even, a couple of sugar companies on the line. So, maybe even petrol companies, I mean, the oil marketing companies and IOC and HP, BP, just a quick check in terms of how this would affect things, if at all, and in what direction. Dredging, the stake sale has been approved. Cabinet has approved entire government stake sale in Dredging Corporation. So, I mean, this is strategic disinvestment, divestment, which is coming in for that one. 650, and it's moving up as we speak, 18% higher now. On Dredging Corporation. So government is going to be out of Dredging Corporation is the news which is coming in from the cabinet, and this is source-based information which we are getting to you. A full 20% higher now, 670. We'll try and get our reporter on the ground to
actually,
talk
Sapna
about
is
this.
saying that the PIB would be uploading the press release soon. So very, very soon we should have absolute confirmation on this. But as of now,
I mean, so essentially how this would proceed is most likely there will be a bidding process. I mean, right? I mean, tenders would be invited, and technical tender, financial tender, and the process will start to kick off. It needed the approval of the cabinet, and that is now come in, and the process itself is going to be taken in as positive. I mean, if you're giving away, a family silver, you're going to expect top price for it. And it's going to be best derived from a bidding process for a company like this. Government holds 74.38% stake in Dredging Corporation. That is the public shareholding, the government shareholding, which is coming in at this point in time. So that's interesting news. And this is announcements from the cabinet, which we just highlighted right in the beginning of the show. But we'll try and get our colleagues who are getting us this information on the phone line in just a bit, and they'll get us more insights into this. But why don't we just meanwhile go across to Ashwini?
Yeah, actually, you know, we might want to pull up some other stocks. I think Mercator was the one which was had shown some bit of interest in picking up some of this stake. So let's see if there's some sort of a reaction over there as well, because now it looks like this should go through pretty soon. So the stock that we want to also might want to check out is Mercator. Okay, we wait for that. I think Rituparna Boyan joins in. Ritu, fill us in.
Well, you know, we are yet to get a fine print of the proposal which has been approved. That is, you know, the disinvestment of Dredging Corp, and also, in addition, a couple of other non-listed entities, PSUs, basically. Now, we understand that the government will soon be releasing a press release on this. Remember that Dredging Corp has around 74% government stake, and Niti Aayog had recommended that the government should get out of this company. And not only that, the Niti Aayog has also recommended that as far as the other non-listed entities like some like Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharma Limited, government should get out and sell it off completely. We have to wait and see in what mechanism the government adopts while doing so. Remember that there has been cabinet approvals that have been given on strategic sale of other companies as well in the past, and we have to now wait and see what mechanism the government now uses to offload its entire stake in these companies.
Okay, Ritu, thanks for that. The stock that I was talking about was Mercator. I think it is off the lows for sure. So not a big reaction there, but the stock heading off of the low point. Let's invite Ashwini Gujral then for a quick tech check on the market. Ashwini, hi, good afternoon. What are the afternoon trades looking like for you?
See, the stocks that will get impacted because of this are PSU stocks, Hind Copper, MMTC, STC. That is where you should be looking, because this kind of, you know, the market will assume that now everything will get disinvested, and strategic sale is different from selling stocks to the public. Having said that, individual stocks, Idea is a buy with a stop of 95, target of 108. Welspun Corporation is a buy with a stop of 152, target of 164. And GM Financial is a buy with a stop of 168, target of 182.
All right. The market itself, Ashwini, how are things looking?
See, today is the first day of an expansion after a consolidation. So chances are that you know, possible upside should continue, and 10,500, 600 should be expected on the upside. Now that the banks are participating with more gusto, things should be a bit easier. But these side trades, you know, this disinvestment, etc., the government reform, that may keep the market, you know, a lot more warm.
All right, Ashwini, thanks very much for that. Let's head then to an exclusive chat. Economic Affairs Secretary S.C. Garg spoke with us. He says that private investment will contribute to India's growth soon, adding that the framework for bank recapitalization is in place, but the government is deciding upon the means of issuing those recap bonds.
The private investment channel, which was sort of weak for quite some time, and you didn't see the investment coming from the private sector. Other engines of growth were firing reasonably well. That's also turning around. You see in a number of ways. The core sector number came yesterday, growing at 5%, which indicate the IBC is resolving the stalled projects, etc. Those are also turning around. You see the and the output gap also in the economy, which was created because of large investments in 2008 and 2011, is also closing now. So everything indicate to me that going forward, the private investment channel would also be contributing its might to the growth story of India.
All right, Ashok, Leyland's numbers also flashing for you in terms of MHCV sales. It's a negative 5% on a Y-on-Y basis. And the LCV sales, in fact, have seen quite a big bump up. But I think that's the TVS Motors management addressing their numbers. So let's hear them out.
Also, the limited editions on Star City Plus, also the Apache Maverick, all the models have done extremely well. And the monsoon during this quarter was far better, and we are very confident that in Q3 we will continue to do better and significantly gain market share in Q3, and exit quarter Q4 also we will do very well. Exports, we are continuing and gaining market share both in two-wheelers and three-wheelers, and there also we will continue to do very well. There are new products launches planned in the second half. All these launches, we are very confident that they will do very well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So that was the TVS Motors management. They've reported an in-line set of numbers. Margins have expanded a tad bit, but the bottom line has just about met estimates. TVS Motors, we were reading those numbers. Okay, the other good set of numbers that came out today was, I think, Godrej Consumer. We have the management also addressing their numbers. So let's hear out Vivek Gambhir. Okay, so that should be starting anytime now, but Godrej Consumer has actually reported a stellar set of numbers. They've seen volume growth of about 10%, which is fabulous given the environment. So let's hear out the management.
Fiscal year 18 for Godrej Consumer Products Limited. We have sustained a resilient performance in the second quarter of fiscal year 2018 and delivered strong profitable growth. In our India business, we have delivered a 10% volume growth on a base of 9% growth in the same quarter last year. On a comparable basis, netting the impact of GST, our sales growth was 11%. Along with this healthy 10% volume growth, we have also delivered an EBITDA growth of 24%. Our teams have been very agile and are handling the GST transition well. Post GST, the trade channels are getting back to normal and consumer offtakes have improved. We remain optimistic of continued pickup in consumer demand in the second half of the year. In our international business, our sales grew by 9% on a constant currency basis. EBITDA growth was ahead of sales growth and grew by 10% on a constant currency basis. Within our international business, our Africa and the US portfolio continues to deliver good performance in spite of political turmoil in Kenya and South Africa. Our Latin American business also saw very strong recovery in this quarter. And while the sales growth in our Indonesian business remained relatively weaker due to the challenging environment, the sales performance has improved sequentially versus the previous quarter. Margins have also improved on the back of already high margins. We are hopeful of a continued recovery in the quarters ahead. So what seems to be working well for us is a continued focus on brand building and innovations and relentless execution on the ground. Over the next few quarters, we have some very exciting plans to launch several new products. As the environment improves, we remain very confident of delivering industry-leading performance. Thank you.
All right, so that's the word coming in from the management of Godrej Consumer. On that note, I think we'll take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you what you can expect from the earnings corner today. So expectations lined up from JSW Energy, Tech Mahindra. Let's tell you all the stocks which are in focus, the earnings which are due today. First up, it's JSW Energy, and Anisha is here to line up the street expectations. Anisha.
Well, yes, Samara, the company has been reporting disappointing numbers as far as the last few quarters is concerned. This time around, we're expecting at least a stable performance to come in, given the fact that in the last few months, we have seen some pickup happening as far as generation is concerned at the Vijayanagar plant. So that should flow up in the numbers. That's why we're expecting a flat revenue. The EBITDA is expected to come down a bit given the coal blending, etc. that they're doing. And the profit as well is expected to remain remain flat, but do remember that the expectation is way too wide. I'm working with a generation growth as well as a generation decline, so it's all over the place. But the basic understanding is that the PLF at Ratnagiri and Vijayanagar plants are at 75% and 66% respectively. However, if you look at the generation, that might be a bit weak. Realizations might be a tad bit better because we had seen this short-term tariff also going up to 9 rupee level in the month of September. And remember, for JSW Energy, a sizable part of their generation actually goes into the short-term power supply. So that should really flow into the numbers. But other than that, the key thing to watch out would be the management commentary on the tariffs as well as generation, any news of the new PPA in the Vijayanagar plant, as well as electric vehicles is one business they are getting into. Any more details on that would be looked out for. Back to you.
Thanks very much for that. That's JSW Energy. And Naveen, Apollo Tyres will be the first tyre company to report numbers. What are we expecting?
So in fact, the first tyre company to report numbers in Q2, and if you remember, the Howler said that most of these companies had come out within Q1. So after that, this will be the first quarter. But remember, in terms of the overall rubber price, that has been flattish on a year-on-year basis. But Apollo Tyres specific, yeah, revenue is expected to grow 13%. Remember, there has been a capacity addition, so that will be adding in. But margins, the key point or key moot point for the company, over there we are expecting a decline of close to 300 basis points. Why? One key reason is, although the Indian business have been doing fairly well, but their Hungarian plant, remember the Europe business contributes close to 30-40%. Over there, the utilizations have been really low, so that will be impacting the margins for Apollo Tyres. So that will lead to a 300 basis point downtick. On the other hand, that will also result into the PAT down being close to 27%. But apart from that, the rubber price, and also we need to see going ahead, how will the anti-dumping duty be impacting Apollo Tyres. So we will be keenly watching out for the management commentary on that. Remember, almost 30-35% of the overall sales come from the replacement market for Apollo Tyre. So that will be of some benefit, that is ADD will be of some benefit to Apollo Tyres. So these will be the key things which we'll be watching in terms of the management commentary. But in terms of margins, expect a 300 basis point downtake. Back to you.
All right, Naveen, thanks very much for that.
To MIDCAP Radar, the market's up about 95 odd points, 10,430. There is no real big give up which has happened so far. As we wrap up this edition of MIDCAP Radar, here is a word from the HIL management on the company's performance and the outlook going ahead. They reported numbers earlier yesterday. Listen in.
We are seeing GST definitely supporting the market growth, and demonetization also stabilizing a lot of reconciliation in the market, consolidation in the market, and bringing in a lot of transparency. And we have posted 12%, as you rightly said, on the top line, and 55% growth on PBT. And at a half-yearly stage, we are already at 95% of the last year's profit before tax. HIL is steadily looking at improving all its numbers, including working on the working capital. We have already come down from 12% to 8% on the working capital, and a huge element of cost-saving drive is going. So I think the momentum will be on, and we can look at closing the year pretty positive this year.